So, the 12-hour Gaza ceasefire, which ended just under an hour ago, has been extended for another 4 hours. There are already reports that mortars have been fired into Israel. Health officials in Gaza say the total number of Palestinians killed in the 3-week conflict has passed the 1,000 mark. Our correspondent Paul Mason is in Tel Aviv tonight, where Israelis are staging their own call for an end to the violence. Paul.
Well, in London, in Paris, in many cities across the world, there have been demonstrations calling for peace in Gaza. Here in Tel Aviv, in central Tel Aviv, they're trying to have one of their own, about 4,000 people. It is small, though. 80% of Jewish Israelis polled this week said they support what the government is doing. If there is pressure coming from anywhere, it is from that Paris meeting. But as we've seen today, though 20 days of war can be traumatic, so can 12 hours of peace.
If Sharjah had been hit by an earthquake, there would by now be rescue teams from all across the world. But Sharjah was hit by Israel, and all its soldiers would do today in Gaza was stop shooting for 12 hours. Amid homes smashed into brick dust, people looked for their belongings and found those killed in last Sunday's bombardment. What did we do to deserve this? The woman asks. We care for 30 orphans already. After 20 days of war, the 12-hour truce was time to restock on food, on medical supplies and on anger.
Thank God there is a 12-hour ceasefire. Since the war started, we've been trapped inside a school and nobody cares about us.
Meanwhile, in the occupied West Bank, more funerals. The yellow flag of the Fatah movement, which runs the Palestinian Authority, evidence that it, too, is being driven towards confrontation with Israel. And as the truce wore towards its close, negotiations for a ceasefire in Paris seemed far away. To 1.8 million people, this is the closest they've seen to peace for 3 relentless weeks.
Jackie, I don't know if you can see behind me, but this demonstration here, maybe 5,000 people, left-wing people, Palestinians, Jewish Israelis, ex-soldiers, it's small. In the distance, there is a counter-demonstration of nationalist Israelis. And, every time these demonstrations have been taking place, what we've seen is trouble. Now, the wider picture here looks like this, that Benjamin Netanyahu's government has a lot of support in what it's doing here in the war. And what it means for people trying to negotiate a peace is that it's just very hard to get a traction on that, either from the point of view of the Israeli government or the Palestinians. It is the fact that everybody has to deal with that the majority of Israeli people do support what's going on.
Paul Mason, thanks very much for joining us this evening.